Hello and welcome to the Success Podcast, where every week I will bring you a deep, rich and clear understanding of why you are where you are now and how to bridge the gap to where you want to be. My name is Amila Kaye and the podcast starts now. To podcast number 4. If you haven't already, click subscribe now so you never miss another episode again. Today I am going to be talking to you about the 7 types of beliefs in general, and why they matter. So we'll talk about the 7 types of beliefs. Why they matter is because our beliefs are one of the biggest filters that we have that determine how we see the world and ourselves within it. And because it is such a big filter, it is going to be driving all the results we get in our life. Now, I think that is so important to understand what beliefs are, how we create them, and how they impact us. So how have they been preventing you in your life in the past? How will they be preventing you in the future? And more importantly, how we can change these beliefs. So I'll talk to you about that, and I'll give you an exercise at the end of this podcast. So have a pen and paper ready, because I will give you some amazing exercises to do that you can implement your new beliefs immediately. And I'll show you exactly how to do that. All right, so why does all of this matter? Well, I've already told you that. What is it exactly? Let's get into it. Alrighty, so like I said, beliefs are one of the biggest filters that we have, and because they're the biggest filters that we have, they drive the results that we get in our life. So really, really important that number 1, we're aware of them, and number 2, that the beliefs we have at the moment are supporting us in being the person that we want to be. They're supporting you in your goals. They're supporting you in the life that you want to establish for yourself. They're supporting you in the type of parent that you want to be, in the type of friend that you want to be, in the type of human being that you want to be. Beliefs are so important. All right, now what are they? Beliefs, as I understand them, and as a lot of experts in the field of self-development and personal development, self-help and coaches and the like say, beliefs are simply things that we have repeated in our minds for an extended period of time and with enough emotional intensity behind this thing that we're saying or repeating or affirming to ourselves. And so hence we embrace it to be a truth. Now, this is the thing. Once you accept something to be true and you embrace it in your mind, being the incredible thing that it is, will now seek out evidence in your world to prove to you that what you believe is true. And what happens then? Then we have so many examples of why we believe what we believe. And we think it's because we have so much evidence, but it actually has nothing to do with that. Because if you were sitting next to somebody who had a contrary belief to you, they could also give you the same amount of evidence and examples of how you are wrong, of how your belief is incorrect and how their belief is correct. So what does this mean? This is so important, because what this means is that just because we believe something and just because we have evidence, quote unquote evidence, to say that what we believe is true or our proof for it, does not actually make it the one and only truth. It does not make it the one and only reality. All it does is it makes it your reality. It makes it your truth. Now, why does this matter? Because if there is an area of your life, say your career or your health or your well-being or your finances or your relationships with people, it doesn't matter what it is, any area of your life, pick it. and you are not getting the results that you want. You're frustrated with your career. You're frustrated with your financial well-being. You're frustrated with your body. You're frustrated with your health. You're frustrated with your relationships, whatever it is most likely because behind all of that, you have a belief that you have accepted at some point in your life, whether through your parents, through school or education, through media, through a significant experience that's happened in your life. You've somewhere along the path embraced a belief that is telling you that the results that you have is the only thing that's possible for you. So if you were to reverse engineer back from the result that you're getting, so say I believe, so just as an example, I believe I'm really crappy with money and I can't save and I never have enough money and I'll never be wealthy. Let's say that was my belief. Now, if I had a belief like that, if I was to go back 10 steps or 7 steps or whatever it is and see, where did this come from? When did I decide that this is true? Where did this come from? And you will always find that it came from somewhere in your past where something happened or someone told you something and you came up with an idea or a statement or a resolution or a conclusion in your mind as to why that happened back then. And you embraced it and you said, well, I guess this is reality. I guess this is what's true for me. And then when you accepted that, your mind went out and had to seek out evidence for why it is true and for why it had to essentially find evidence to support this thought of yours, this idea of yours that you had embraced. And then when you had collected enough evidence, of course, then you become very adamant about your belief. No. If someone tries to challenge you, no. No, it's true because, and right after the because come all your evidences for why it's true. However, can you agree that there are people just like you out there in the world, your age, your sex, your religion, your socioeconomic background, your upraising, your educational level, who have different results to you? Yes or no? Of course. So what's the difference? Are they luckier than you? Absolutely not. They must have beliefs that are different to yours. And so what happens when you have a belief? As I said, your mind will always go and seek evidence for how it is true to support your belief system. In the same way, if you choose another belief, if you consciously choose an empowering belief that will give you the results that you want, your mind will have to start finding evidence for how that is true. And your mind will have to start providing you with opportunities and resources for how you can achieve your goal. This part of your mind is called the reticular activating system. Now, the reticular activating system in your mind is the powerhouse that controls everything that you notice. It controls everything you do not notice. It controls everything that you see and don't see, everything that you hear and don't hear. Because I don't know the numbers, so I'm just don't pay any attention to these numbers. Let's say there's trillions of data and pieces of information coming at us in every moment, right? I don't know if it's trillions or billions, but whatever it is, just stay with me here. Now, if our brain was to let in all of that information at the same time, we would collapse. It would just shut down, break down, gone, we're out. Now, in order to protect our mind, the reticular activating system, so the RAC, will only filter in what it believes is important to you. What it has been instructed is important for you. Who instructs the reticular activating system? You. You do that. How do you do that? You do that with your beliefs. You do that with what you focus on. You do that with the thoughts that are in your mind. So this is why our beliefs are so important in driving the results that we get in our life, and also what we see and what we don't see. what we're aware of and what we're not aware of. Because somebody who lives right beside you, or who goes to the same workplace that you go to, or went to the same school that you went to, who has an entirely different life to yours, who maybe has all the things that you wanted, that's not because they're lucky. It's not because they got lucky or they have it easier than you. Absolutely not. It's because their reticular activating system is showing them things that are available in the world that you are deleting. And your brain is deleting that because of a belief that you have, or beliefs that you do have. So this is so exciting. I'm really excited to talk about this. Let's get deeper into it. I'm trusting that you're following what I'm talking about here, and I'm trusting that you're really excited, because I am. All right, so Tony Robbins, who I absolutely love, adore, respect, admire, he inspires me, I look up to him all the time. He says, it is not the events of our life that shape us, but our beliefs as to what those events mean. Just let that sink in. I find that the greatest misconception is that our environments are going to dictate how we turn out. You can jump onto the internet right now, okay Google, through your phone. Find out how many people have been in adverse environments, in environments that were abusive, that were violent, that were poverty-stricken, people that didn't get a decent education, maybe people that never even went to school, people who came from places where they couldn't even eat, who are now great successes. And when I say successes, I mean people that have overcome hard things in their life. They've gone from having nothing to now not only having enough for what they want, but having enough to help other human beings. That is success. It's not about how much money you have in the bank. It is not about how many cars you drive or what kind of cars you drive. Yes, that can be a form or a symptom of your success if that's something that you want, but that does not mean that success equals lots of money, cars, and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't mean that. Success is, how are you progressing in life? How are you becoming a greater human being? How are you improving yourself? How are you giving back to other human beings in the world? What are you changing? What is the legacy that you're leaving behind when you leave? This, to me, is success. Now, for you, it can be something totally different, and that's okay. But the key here that I'm trying to stress is that it is not our environments that dictate how we turn out. It is the beliefs that we have about what those events mean to us. That's what determines who we are and who we become. What am I making this mean? You know, I've had, like many human beings, a lot of really difficult and stressful and challenging times in my life. And those will continue to happen until I die. Every single one of us is going to have problems, challenges, obstacles, hardships. We will. This is the nature of being alive. We're all going to have something in our life that we're going to struggle with, and we have to push through. The question is, will you push through, or will you stay suffering where you are? That's up to you. And I trust if you're listening to my podcast, you're not the type of person who wants to just sit there and let the struggles of life overwhelm you. For me, beliefs are like a compass. They guide us to what we want to achieve. And our beliefs give us certainty that it's going to happen, even if we have no idea how. If your belief is, I am going to make it no matter what, I will make it. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care if I fail 10,000 times. I don't care if the whole world is against me. I will succeed in this. That's a belief. That belief is your compass that gives you a sense of certainty to push you through the storm, to get you through that dark, stormy, chaotic, boat ride that you're on, going through the journey of life. That's what it is. So make sure that your beliefs are up to date, that you have consciously chosen them, and that they are supporting you in the type of human being that you want to be. Okay, so now it is undoubtedly one of the most powerful forces in how we behave, and this is why I've dedicated a podcast to it. I want to keep it short. I want to keep it simple. I get carried away. So getting back in there, let's look at this now. So our beliefs are here to do one of two things. One is to avoid pain. As human beings, we're always looking at ways to avoid pain. And two, we're always looking at ways to gain pleasure. Think about it. Everything that you do, it's either to avoid pain or perceived pain, and to gain pleasure, or something that you perceive that will give you pleasure. All right. Now, why this matters is because if you have a belief that you number one, you haven't consciously chosen, but this belief you think is there to avoid pain, but in fact it's actually giving you long-term pain, definitely something that you want to look at, right? All right, now let's get into what the 7 beliefs are. So the first one is global beliefs. These are the beliefs that we have which are external to us. This is life is. If I said to you life is, what is life for you? How would you answer the rest of that question? Or statement, sorry. Or what are relationships? Relationships are what? Marriage is what? Men are, women are. I'm sure you're getting the drift here. So these are generalizations that we make about the world, global beliefs, right? Now, the most important thing here is that if your global beliefs are not getting you the results that you want, then those beliefs need to be overhauled, and you need to create them into something that is new and empowering and supports you. Even changing one global belief will have a huge impact and effect on your life and the decisions that you make. So if you have, say, for example, a belief which is, marriage is restrictive and, it's restrictive and it's terrible and it's suffocating and I never want to get married. Or, marriage is, being weighed down by somebody. Say you have these beliefs about marriage. How do you think? Or imagine someone who might have a belief about this. How do you think that their behavior will be in their marriage? How will they treat their partner? How will they treat themselves? How will they add to the relationship? How will they deduct from the relationship? All of these things and all of these decisions that we make in our relationship, say, for example, if you're married or if you're not married and you're with someone who wants to get married, really, really important that you look at what is your global belief around marriage? What does it mean to you? What do you believe it is? And then you will notice how all your behavior is in complete alignment with that belief. Now, if you have a really positive belief, and a sustainable and resourceful belief about marriage, then you will also find that all your actions and behaviors and decisions in your marriage reflect that. So really, really important, global beliefs. Okay. Our beliefs are simply survival tools that we use to make sense of our world. It's so that we can sort out what's important, and it's also so we can sort out how to deal with our universal fears. Now, because beliefs give us certainty about a particular thing. So say, for example, if I was to say, I'm attractive. So what I'm really saying is, I feel certain that I'm attractive. Now, this certainty then allows me to act in a way that says I'm attractive. I might be more confident with how I sit. I might be more conversational. I might be more confident. I might, be more open to receiving interest from the opposite sex. These are all just examples, right? It's because I believe I'm attractive. And then what will happen is my reticular activating system will say, all right, we believe we're attractive. I need to go and find evidence in my world where this is supported. So then what will happen is I will notice all of these things in my life that reaffirm to me that I'm attractive, which means it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. I am just reaffirming this thing and I'm building up my collection for why it's true. Beliefs give us certainty. All beliefs start with an idea, but not all ideas become beliefs. So what is the difference? Say, for example, you was to say to yourself right now, I am a genius. Just say, I'm a genius. Have you said it? Okay. Now, the difference between being an idea and a truth, what is it? How do you turn an idea into a belief? So if I say to you, I'm a genius, and you've got feelings of like, oh, am I? I don't think I am. I really don't think I am. I don't even think I'm that smart. If you've had these reactions, it's because you don't have enough examples or references in your life that make that true. You've never sought out evidence to see if you're a genius. Now, I'll give you an example. Think of a chair, just like a four-legged chair, right? Now, you've got legs that hold up the chair. This is references. Let's use the legs of the chair as references or examples or evidence, right? The top of the chair, the part that you would sit on, this is your idea, okay? Now, this is how you turn ideas into beliefs. The seat of the chair, the bit that you would sit on, is your idea. Now, insert your idea here. I am intelligent. I am kind. I am compassionate. I am generous. I'm attractive. I'm successful, right? Now, if you believe any of these things to be true, and if you don't, use, just for the purpose of this exercise, use a belief of something that you believe to be true. So something that you believe about yourself already. It could be, I believe I'm a good mum. I believe I'm a good driver. I believe that I'm really good at math. I believe that I'm really good at writing. Whatever it is, right? I believe I'm really good at cleaning. It doesn't matter. Put your belief in now. Now, if you agree with that belief and you believe it to be true, you must also agree that you've got references from your life experience that support that this is true for you. So your references are what makes the legs sturdy of this chair, so that it can hold up the seat of the chair, so it can hold up your belief, your idea. Now, the more references you have about an idea, the stronger the belief. So the more examples you have to support an idea, say I'm attractive. If I can give you 4 examples right now to prove to you why I believe I'm attractive, that means that that idea that I'm attractive has now become a belief. And it will be a belief until I challenge it. This is how important beliefs are. This is what a huge impact they have. And this is how they work behind the scenes. Now, the key is to look at what you believe and ask yourself, does this belief empower me or does it disempower me? All right. And also, I think I said really, really early on, the emotional intensity we have linked to any belief and the amount of references we have to support it is what determines how true it is for us. Now, if we can all have a belief that, we're flaky about, we're not entirely committed to it. We're kind of like, I don't know, I could go either way. We're on the fence about it. This is because we don't have emotional intensity behind them, or we don't have enough references behind them. Dr. Martin Seligman, I think it was, he has a book called Learned Optimism. And in his book, he says that the 3 main reasons or the 3 main differences between a helpless and an optimistic person is how they do the following. All right, so number 1, permanence. It's how they view permanence. Is this something that is happening right now, only today, only this week, only for a short period of time? Or is this permanent? Is this forever? This is it. This is always. It's how they view permanence. Number 2, pervasiveness. It's how they see it to impact their entire life. Is it impacting only one part of their life, or is it impacting all areas of their life? Personal. Is it about them? Or is it only about them in this specific situation, in this moment, only in this event. Unsuccessful people view things that happen in their life as permanent, that the bad event, behavior, or circumstances will remain persistent and consistent. Successful people, on the other hand, see the same things as temporary, in passing. This too shall pass. That's the mindset. With permanent, successful people see events as specific and unique. Unsuccessful people see it as everything. It applies to all areas of my life. My whole life is shit. Everything is falling apart, they say. So again, that's the difference. The difference is their belief on the pervasiveness of the problem. An example might be a successful person might say, well, I don't think this diet is right for me. I think I need to change it. If I tweak this, I can get different results. Now, an unsuccessful person will think something like, I can't do anything right. I can't control how I eat. I can't lose weight. I've tried everything. I'm a failure. I'll never try again. What's the point? Do you see the difference in how they see the pervasiveness of a problem? And of course, personal, it's how we view the challenge in respect to how we see ourselves. Do we make our challenges and our obstacles mean that we are a failure? Do you see yourself as being defective because you couldn't get something right, or you couldn't achieve a certain outcome, or maybe you didn't communicate in the way that you wanted to communicate, or you didn't say what you wanted to say? Or do you think, okay, I flunked that. That is what doesn't work. This approach didn't work. And then you go out and you think, what can I change to get a different result? What can I say next time? What shouldn't I say next time? These are just a couple of examples of the differences between how a successful person and an unsuccessful person would view those three things. Now, the second belief, identity beliefs. To me, this is one of the most fundamental beliefs, and it's the most influential in our lives. This belief defines your sense of self. Who do you see yourself to be? It's things like, I am a woman. I am a mother. I am an author. Whatever it is. Now, if someone was to attack my identity or question that, I will do anything to protect it. Why? Because I believe these to be my identity beliefs. These are the beliefs that define who I am. People see their identity in people who see their identity immersed in roles that they play and the ways that they choose to describe themselves, or how they associate themselves, say, to their career or things that they're temporarily doing, right? If those things get attacked and this person believes, I am this thing, I am my role as my career. If people attack it, they can get very upset and very angry and whatever other way they might express it. It's because you may have hit an identity belief. So really be aware of that. And also if someone hits something for you and you feel very, very like you want to protect it, it's because they've probably hit an identity belief for you. And just be aware of that and breathe. It doesn't mean they're right. There could be a potential for feedback there, but just understand and have awareness around what's happening. The third type of belief, values beliefs. These are assumptions we hold around what we think is important versus what we don't think is important. These are the things that we value in our life. For example, health and vitality, patience, family, connection, growth. These are all values beliefs. Now, our values constantly change throughout our life. Sometimes we don't even know what values are driving us. So I will do a podcast very, very soon on values elicitations where it will be a amazing coaching experience where it's just you and I. You can play me at your convenience, and I'm going to take you through a values elicitation exercise. People pay hundreds of dollars for someone to do this with them. I'm going to do it with you for free because I think that it is so important that more people are able to do these exercises with someone, for someone to guide them through it. So I will do that with you. Now, values, beliefs back here as a belief system, again, is a filter. This is, again, another filter, and it shows us either it's going to give us the results that we're getting right now, or it's going to stop us from getting the results that we want to get in our life. The key is to be aware of our values, to challenge it and change it if it's not working for us. And if it is, then awesome. That's an awesome one. Keep it and move on. Now, you will know your values, beliefs based on the results you experience in your life. If you say, for example, that you value health and fitness, however, you're mostly eating shitty foods that are really low nutrition and really high in calories and chemicals and all this stuff that's not good for us and it's harming us, and you make little or no time to prioritize any physical activity, and your body and your energy is going to obviously then be the evidence that health and fitness or health and vitality are clearly not an important value for you. In fact, in this situation, what you probably value is comfort and convenience. So definitely not health and fitness. A lot of the time people think like, oh, well, I think I know what I should be valuing and I think I know what the right answer is. But unless the evidence in their life demonstrates this, it is probably not their value. It's probably a value that they think they would like to have, not one that they do have. So really excited to do a eliciting your values podcast with you really, really soon. Number 4, rules, beliefs. Now, these beliefs are what you believe needs to be around in your life in order for you to experience a value. So say your value is health and vitality or health. Now, the rules that you have in place on how you can achieve health and vitality is really important. So for me, if I think that this is what I think, these are the rules that I have to work out every single day. It's a rule that I have. Rules are like standards, right? So my rule is I can feel healthy and that I'm full of vitality if I exercise every day. If I, that 80% of my meals are really highly nutritious, healthy, preservative-free, chemical-free, and as close to nature as possible. So at the time of the recording, I am a vegan, mostly vegan. I call myself 98% vegan. Why? Because I believe that diet, if I eat a diet like that, it suits me the best. It suits my body the best. I get the most out of myself. I feel the best. And also that if I exercise every single day, I also feel the best. Now, these are my standards. These are my rules to achieve my value of health and vitality. What happens then is if I don't meet my rules and my standards, I'm then feeling so frustrated with myself and I don't feel that I can peak at the best that I can be that day because I don't feel that I'm being true to my values on that day. Why? Because I didn't meet my standards. I didn't meet my rules and my standards that allow me to experience health and vitality. Is this sustainable? Absolutely. Is it resourceful? 100%. Is it good for me? 100%. Is it good for people around me? 100%. If I'm in good health and I have good energy, then people at work will benefit. My family will benefit. My friends will benefit. In fact, the entire healthcare system will benefit because I'm not putting any pressure on it. So these are the things you want to ask. Remember again, always, is it sustainable? Is it resourceful? If yes, awesome, rock on, keep doing it. If not, reevaluate. What can you change? All right. The key is also, so I've given you a very good example. The key is though that if say you have a criteria that you want to be that, love is something that you really value. However, you've got a really long list of all the things that have to happen, or a really long list of standards of things that have to happen in order for you to experience love. Chances are you'll be robbing yourself of the opportunity to feel it because you've got so many things that have to be met before you allow yourself to feel love. So it's also thinking about What are the rules that I have in place? What are the standards that I have in place? Are they good? Are they standards that they're absolute, have to meet them? Without this, I don't think that I'm being the best version of myself. That's great. Keep them. If, however, you think, well, I don't really need to have this many criteria or this many standards in order for me to feel love, then get rid of them. Just cross them off. Say, this doesn't matter anymore. My new standards are this. If someone is kind towards me, if someone gives me their undivided attention and focus and their time, if someone, surprises me with a little gift that I didn't expect, whatever that is, it can be anything. It can be a post-it note. It can be one flower that they picked up on their way home. It can be one chocolate. It can be a hug. It can be a 2-minute massage they're giving you because they can see you're stressed out. If it can be any of these things in order for you to feel love. Can you imagine how the window of opportunity you've given yourself to now experience love? So key is, are your rules limiting you from experiencing your values? Limiting the opportunity for you to experience it? Or are they expanding it? Giving you more opportunities to experience your values? Really important. Rules, beliefs. All right, next one. The fifth belief is vehicles beliefs. A vehicle belief is what you're doing every day as a human being that allows you to meet your 6 core needs. This is what I spoke about in the last podcast. So 6 core needs, if you haven't listened to it, listen to it when you can. And vehicle beliefs will make a lot more sense for you here. But it's things like, riding, traveling. I have a few really beautiful, great friends that are riders. I know for a fact that riding for them is a vehicle belief. Traveling. I have friends who love traveling. I see how they light up as human beings when they travel. Or, people who play music, being a musician, being a parent, being a career person, an artist, and so on, right? These are vehicle beliefs. Now, a lot of people will confuse their vehicle beliefs with their identity beliefs. Actually, a lot of people confuse identity beliefs with pretty much everything. But remembering your vehicle beliefs are not who you are. You are not a writer. Writing is something that you do. I am not a writer. Writing is something that I do. It is not who I am. Traveling is something that I do. It is not who I am. Parenting is something that I do. It is not who I am. Because if I'm going to say that my vehicle beliefs are who I am, what happens when I'm no longer a parent for some reason? Or what happens if I can't ride anymore? I get into an accident, I can never ride again. What happens if I can never travel ever again? Can you imagine what would happen to me as a human being? I would fall into a deep, great depression, and there would be absolutely no reason for me to live anymore. This is what people say. What am I living for? Or you're my reason for living. That's another thing people say. Never. It's so dangerous. Always, 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 in order to be a successful human being, and in order for you to sustain your way through life in a way that is going to be good for you and good for others, do not confuse your vehicle beliefs with who you are. They are just things that you are doing. You're doing them at this time of your life. I think that's really, really important. I hope I've stressed that enough. So it's to avoid falling into a deep crisis. We see it happen all the time. In movies, people that, the kids move out and they're like, well, what am I doing now? I've lost meaning in my life. It's because they fully assigned and dedicated themselves to one vehicle belief, and they made it mean who they are as a human being. So when that is taken away from them, they now have no idea who they are. This is a very, very scary and painful and confusing place and time to be in your life. Avoid it. And if you have been through it, I'm sure you can see what I mean right now. We've all been through it to some degree, varying degrees. We've all experienced that. So know now that those are your vehicle beliefs, and know that they are not who you are. They are things that you choose to do, and you can always choose to do different things. Alrighty. So the sixth belief, we're almost at the end here. The sixth belief is situation-specific beliefs. This is my favorite. It's my favorite because I've been in situations where my situation-specific beliefs have overdriven all my other beliefs, and I have done things that absolutely shook the foundations of who I thought I was as a human being. It was a very scary, very anxious time in my life. I wish I'd known this back then. The situation-specific beliefs are designed to handle intense and very specific situations. Now, this is not an example of something that's happened to me, but an example might be if someone was to threaten, think of someone that you love so much. Like, this is your number one human being in the world. If you've got kids, I know that's going to be really hard. So you can choose all your kids as one person, right? Now, if someone was to threaten the life of your children or your child or your mother or your husband or your girlfriend or whatever, if someone was to threaten the life of this person, in that moment, you could probably say that you could potentially turn into a murderer. In that moment, that you would go and kill the person who is threatening the life of someone that you dearly love. I know for a fact that if my daughter was in a situation like that, and there was someone who had a gun to her head or a knife to her throat or whatever it was, that in that moment, my situation-specific beliefs are going to override everything else I believe about anything else. And in that moment, I will probably become a murderer. So this is really important to know, because if you've ever been in an intense situation where you have done something that is completely out of character for you, you don't need to, what's the word I'm looking for? You don't need to devalue and question everything about yourself. Why? Because everything about yourself is still true. All the other things about you are still true. It's in this situation, the sixth belief, which is your situation-specific belief, overrode everything else because it had to deal with an intense situation. So the seventh belief, these are meta programs, and there's over 50 of them. There's probably more than 50. I'm not going to talk about the seventh belief in this podcast. I may talk about it in another podcast. Otherwise, you can also buy my book, The Matrix of Human Behavior. You can just pop it into Google. It's available on a lot of online bookstores. You can get an ebook version of it that you can download and read straight away, or you can get a hard copy sent out to you. Or everything that I talk about is in my book, plus so much more. And it's all followed with a lot of explanations and activities for you to actually implement what you've read in the chapter. So meta programs is a totally different thing, which I won't talk about here. Now, what do I want to talk about? Okay, let's get to the activities. I've covered everything that I wanted to cover. Let's have some fun now. So take out a pencil if you can. If not, listen to this and do it when you can. Put on some of your favorite tunes, get relaxed, get comfortable, go to your favorite spot. Now, write down a title that says My Current Empowering Beliefs. And then on another page, write down, or you can cut it in half and do it, one on this side and one on that side, whatever's visually right for you. But essentially, you're writing down my current empowering beliefs and my current disempowering beliefs. So you set that up any way that you like. And what you're going to do is you're going to write down as many as you can. Don't overthink it. Write down as many of your empowering beliefs that you have that you think empower you. It could be, I believe I'm a great writer. I believe I'm a great parent. I believe I'm a great friend. I believe that I am really good at taking care of my health. I believe that if I set a goal, I can achieve it. It doesn't matter. I'm just pulling some from my own head. You can pick any of your own that are empowering, and then write down your current disempowering beliefs. What are things that you're doing? What are things that you believe at the moment are disempowering beliefs for you? Now that might be, I don't think I'm ever going to be successful. I don't think I'm ever going to make, $1 million. I don't think I'm ever going to pay off my mortgage. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to buy a house, whatever. I don't think I'm ever going to get married, whatever it is. Think of your current disempowering beliefs, write them down. Don't overthink it, just go for it. Put me on pause because I'm just going to keep talking through this. So put me on pause if you're doing the activity right now. And if not, let's go to the next bit. So the next bit is take a look now at your empowering beliefs and highlight 3 of them. So hopefully you've written down more than 3 of them. I feel like I probably should have told you that before. Highlight 3 of them, which you feel empower you the most. Now, take some time and I want you to answer the questions below for each belief that you selected. So you've selected 3 beliefs. Maybe you've selected 2, not a big deal. At least select 2, 3 is ideal. Now, the questions that you want to ask yourself about these beliefs that you've highlighted, which are empowering, is question 1. How does this belief empower me? Write it down. 2, how does it strengthen my life? Write it down. 3, what example do I have where this belief pulled me through a difficult time? Really, really important. What example do I have where this belief pulled me through a difficult time? Now, you want to do the same for your disempowering beliefs, except I'm going to give you different questions, right? And I suggest if you want to do this, like if you've got like a little idea pad or a journal, maybe you can get a really nice journal somewhere where you can do all of these activities in. This is like a growth book. This is your power book. This is your ideas book. This is where you grow in this book. So maybe put all these questions in one place. And every time I do a podcast, I'll give you something to take away from the podcast, questions to answer, an activity to do. And it'll be great if you have it all in one book, right? All right. So now, disempowering beliefs. Take your top 2 disempowering beliefs. Got them? And decide right now that you are done with this belief. Like, I'm done with it. This is enough. And that you are absolutely ready to dismantle it and just reduce it to nothing. Gone. Now, if you're ready to make that decision and you have made that decision, you can start to shake its foundation. Now, this is how we're going to do it. You're going to answer the below questions for your top 2 disempowering beliefs. Ready? Question 1. In what ways is this belief ridiculous? Right? In what ways is this belief just ridiculous? I want you to make fun out of this belief. I want you to poke at it. I want you to believe for a second, just imagine for a second, that this belief is not yours, that this belief belongs to your child. And if you don't have children, that this belief belongs to someone that you absolutely care for, like a friend or a parent. Someone came to you and said, I have this belief and I think it's holding me back. What would you say to that person? All right. So in what ways is this belief ridiculous? I think I've said that so many times. 2, if the person that you love most in the world had this belief, what would you say to them? 3, where did I first get this idea? Who did I learn it from? Is this person someone I admire and want to model and be like? I'm so sorry, I'm laughing. My daughter's walked in my room. She's written me a little note on her phone. She's demanding that I read it. I'm very distracted. I'm signaling at her like mum's busy. Thank you, Jayla. Mum got the note. All right. So mothers out there, I'm sure you appreciate the struggle. All right. So question 3 was, where did I first get this idea? Who did I learn it from? And then ask yourself, is this person someone I admire and want to model and be like? 4, what will it ultimately cost me emotionally if I don't let this belief go right now? Then, what will it ultimately cost me in my relationships, both personally and professionally, if I don't let this belief go? So writing them down. I'm trusting that you're just going to pause and write the questions down and then answer them later or answer them right now. I'm just going for the people that are maybe just listening and not doing the activities. When you come back and listen to it again, you know what to expect. Have your paper ready, write the question, pause, do the activity, write all the questions, and then stop me and then go back and answer them in your own time. But I'm just going to sort of go through them now for the people that are just listening. Then ask yourself, what will it ultimately cost me physically if I don't let this belief go? Then, what will it ultimately cost me financially if I don't let this belief go? Last question. What will it ultimately cost my family and my friends if I don't let this belief go? Those are the 8 questions. Write them down. Either answer them now or answer them when it's a suitable time for you. I trust some people are listening to this on their way to work. Some people are listening to it at work, or they're just listening to it in a place where they can't, do the activity right now. If you answer or have answered these questions truthfully and you really put in 100% to do this exercise, you will find that now, perhaps already, you've loosened these 2 disempowering beliefs in their strength. And you, even if you've done it just in your head mentally, can you notice that there is now doubt surrounding those beliefs? You're starting to question them. They're just a little bit less sturdy than they used to be before you asked yourself these questions. I want you to take a moment now and close your eyes and really associate yourself with the pain it has already cost you. These 2 disempowering beliefs. What pain has it already cost you? Feel that pain. Now also see the pain that it's going to cause you in the future, in 1 year. What's happening? What about in 5 years? How has it impacted you? What about in 10 years' time? You haven't changed it. You haven't let it go. You didn't let it go. What pain has it caused you? I want you to see it. I want you to feel it. Hear it. What are you saying? What are people around you saying? What will happen if you do not let go of this disempowering belief right now? Now, I trust that you've gone on a journey with me doing that, and that you've taken yourself to that place and you've done what I've asked you to do. Now, if you're ready to let it go, and if you have already to let it go, the key is, if we're to remove a belief, we have to replace it with another one. It's the same as when we remove a bad habit, you've got to replace it with another one. You've got to replace it with a good habit. So you need to find 2 new beliefs that will be in their place from now on. So for example, if your current belief is, I can never travel the world because I don't have enough money, your new belief might be something like, because I love to travel the world, I will do whatever it takes to save the money to do so. Or I will do whatever it takes so that I can travel the world. So write your replacement beliefs down, new belief 1 and new belief 2. And some of the great questions that you can ask yourself when you're creating new beliefs is, what must I believe if I want to get the results I desire? So you know what you desire. You know what that is. Ask yourself, what must I believe if I want to get that? Okay? 2, who has the results I want? Find someone in your life. We have access to the entire freaking world in our pocket, assuming that you leave your mobile there. Find out, do some research, use your phone for something good. Who has the results that you want? And then find out, what do they believe? Because what you need to do is you need to embrace what they believe so that you can get the same results they have. All right, 2 questions, really important. Ask yourself these questions, answer them before you write down your 2 new empowering beliefs, especially if you're struggling with what they should be. And remember this whenever you're looking at your beliefs, specifically the ones that are not serving you in a beneficial way. Know that you can decide what anything means to you. You decide what meaning to give to absolutely anything and everything in your life experience. And when you change what something means to you, you can then change the decisions that you're going to make surrounding that thing. See, nothing in this world has meaning but for the meaning that we give it. So be conscious and actively participate and choose meanings to the events in your life. That's what I have to say to you today. If you like today's message and you can think of someone who also gets something out of it, please share it. My vision is to help as many people possible to understand themselves and others better and to have the tools to create the life that they desire. As always, I will leave you with hopefully what I trust to be a new outlook on life, some new things to think about, and a new way to move forward. This podcast was a bit long, and maybe you might split it across going to work and coming home, or if you have a job, you can just, like me, listen to it while you're working away. Be awesome, take care of yourselves. I appreciate all of you, and that's it for today. Bye for now.